Hello friends! This is Excel training videos. My name is Pavel, and in this video we are going to take a look at some basic useful formulas of Microsoft Excel. In this video we are going to cover three formulas which help us to calculate number of cells which match certain given criteria or maybe multiple criteria. The first function is CountA. This function helps us to calculate number of cells which contain any kind of information, whether it is a date, a text, a number, or whatever. The second one is CountIf. This formula helps us to calculate number of cells that match one single given criteria. And the third one is CountIfs. This formula helps us to calculate number of cells which suits a multiple given criteria. To see how it works, let's take a look at the working spreadsheet. Here we can see a sales report for the January month of a coffee shop company called Tasty Coffee. So in this table we can see the date, the indication whether it is a working day or a weekend, sales volume for drinks, sales volume for food, and total sales volume for each given date of the reporting period. Now let's take a look how we can use these formulas to conduct some useful marketing and financial analysis of these numbers. So first let's calculate how many total amount of days we have in the given period. To do this, let's activate the first formula, which is CountA. To do this, let's go to formula line, punch F, choose CountA. In the section value, we should select all the days in the reporting period and press done. So this formula counted that in the given period there are total 30 days. Now let's make a breakup. How many of these days were working days and how many were weekends? To do this, we should use the second formula, which is a little bit more sophisticated, which is CountIf. Let's activate the CountIf function. Select the range, which is the days of the reporting period, and now we should choose the criteria. The criteria is that the day should be a working day. We can see that out of the 30 days, 22 were working days. Now let's calculate the number of weekends. We should use the same formula, which is CountIf. Select the days of the reporting period and choose criteria weekend. In the given period we had 8 weekends. Now let's make a breakup for sales of drinks and sales of food to see how many days we had sales more than 100, 200, 300, and so on, to make a marketing and financial analysis of the given numbers. To do this, we should use the same formula, which is CountIf. So let's select all the sales numbers for drinks and choose criteria more than 100. We can see that all the 30 days we had sales of drinks more than $100 per day. Now let's see what we have for 200. Insert function, sales statistics for drinks, criteria more than 200. 28. Quite impressive. So it means that almost all the days of the reporting period we had sales of drinks more than 200 US dollars. Now let's see what we have for 300. Select sales of drinks, criteria more than 300. Now we can see that in less than half of the days of the reporting period we had sales of drinks more than 300 US dollars. Now let's see what we have for 400. Same numbers, criteria more than 400, done. Only 7. And finally let's proceed the same calculation for 500 US dollars. Only one day we had sales of drinks more than 500 US dollars. So what we can see from this breakup? We can see that almost all the days we had sales more than 200 US dollars, but not so many days when we had sales more than 300 US dollars. So most of the days we had sales of drinks between 2 and 300 US dollars per day. Now let's make the same calculation for food. CountIf, select sales volume for food and choose criteria more than 100. 30. Let's make $200. Insert function, sales of food, criteria more than 200. Very impressive. So as we can see, within all the days of the reporting period we had sales of food more than 200 US dollars per day. Now let's see what we have for 300. $23. Quite impressive. So 23 days out of 30 we had sales of food more than 300 US dollars per day. Let's see 400. Sales of food number, criteria more than 400. Now not so many, 12 days. And now finally let's see what we have for 400 days. Choose sales numbers and make criteria more than 500. Only 3 days. So what we can see from this breakup, we can see that mostly we have sales from 300 to 400 United States dollars per day in the given period. And now let's make the breakup which of the days were mostly successful. So for sales drinks we already know that total we had 13 days when the sales were more than 300 US dollars per day. Now let's make a breakup how many of them were working days and how many of them were weekends. To do this we are going to the final formula for today, which is CountIfs. So this time we have multiple criteria, actually 2 criteria. The first criteria is that sales in the given date should be more than 300 US dollars, and second criteria is that this day should be a working day. So let's choose CountIfs, insert this function, and choose the range for first criteria, which is sales of drinks. Our criteria is that it has to be more than 300. The second range is day. Okay, so first criteria is sales of drinks, criteria more than 300. Let's select the days and make it a working day. Done. It's 5. And now let's calculate weekends. CountIfs, insert. The first range is sales of drinks. Criteria is more than 300. The second range is days, and criteria is that it should be a weekend. Done. So what we can see? We can see that in the given period we had total 8 weekends, and all the 8 weekends we had sales of drinks more than $300, but only 5 working days out of 22 we had sales of drinks more than $300. So what does it mean? It means that we can highlight this number, and based on this we can ask our sales and marketing team to think about special promotions and discounts and special offers to increase the number of working days in future to achieve sales more than $300 per day for drink section. Now let's make the same calculation for sales of food. We already know that we had 12 days when we had sales more than $400. Now let's see how many of them were working days and how many of them were weekends. Let's select this function, sales of food numbers. Criteria is more than 400. Select days. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so for the given criteria we have to make it more than 400. Second criteria is the type of day, and it should be a working day. Done. Only 4. Now let's see how many weekends. Criteria is sales of food, which has to be more than 400. The range is the type of the day, and the criteria is weekend. Done. So what we can see? We can see that we had 8 weekends in the given period, and all the 8 weekends we had sales of food more than $400, but only 4 days were working days when we had the same impressive sales for food. So we can highlight this number, and based on this we can ask our sales and marketing team to think about some special promotions and special offers to increase amount of working days when we had sales of food more than $400 per day. Dear friends, this is all for today. Subscribe to our channel, post comments, put thumb ups, and see you in next video to tell you more about colorful world of Microsoft Excel.